I'm Tom from Continuity, and this is the Vintage News. Well, 2022 is over, and here at the Vintage News, we wanted to do a little bit of a look back at what happened this year in vintage, as well as look at some landmark sales and maybe some predictions for the future. First off, of course, we've mentioned it before, but this is really the year of the live selling app. Whatnot, PopShop, Ezi Live, and many others have really gained support from the vintage community, and we've seen a ton of vintage sellers hop on more than ever. Some sellers even got paid to promote and sell on certain apps, which kind of makes vintage sellers the new influencer. Don't hold your breath though. Places like Poshmark and eBay have both been beta testing live selling features on their own pre-existing marketplaces, which makes us think, what's the future of these live selling apps? Are they going to get eaten up by the bigger marketplaces, or will they continue to thrive alongside eBay and Poshmark and maybe others like Instagram, if they ever decide to stop copying TikTok and BeReal? While selling live on the internet changed a lot in 2022, so did selling live in person. 2022 was the first real year of normalcy after the pandemic, and the vintage boom continued throughout this year. Local and national events surged as attendance for events to buy secondhand clothing appeared to be through the roof. ThriftCon appeared to be the dominant national event with 6 stops in 6 cities throughout all of 2022. What feels like forever ago, Faded in Rhode Island and the Virtual Flea in Chicago were also this year and well attended by many vintage enthusiasts. Vintage Never Die, a vintage event in Thailand, seemed to be a t-shirt enthusiast's wet dream and looked absolutely insane. If you want a Western viewpoint on it, 416 Single Stitch appears to be hosting a vlog very soon on the event. And if you like videos on vintage events, then check out the Ezi Live app YouTube channel, where you can watch a documentary on the Durango Vintage Festivus, what appears to be the strangest but also coolest vintage event that happened this year. Apart from events, it appears that a lot of online sellers have transitioned into opening their own brick and mortar stores. So while you might not see your favorite vintage seller on Instagram nearly as much, you can actually go talk to them in person at their store and purchase their wares from them. Sounds kind of like a dream come true. Today's episode is brought to you by YEG Exotic. A family-owned business, YEG Exotic uses their passion for exotic soda and snacks to bring you some of the most delicious treats around. With 2 locations in Edmonton and an online store, YEG Exotic has got you covered for anything delicious and delectable. They have items you've always wanted to try, like Prime Hydration or the Mr. Beast Bar, or something that you've never heard of but sounds so delicious that you need to try right now, like yogurt Skittles or a Jasmine Peach Fanta. Check them out at yegexoticpop.com or either one of their locations in Edmonton now. YEG Exotic. Be a kid in a candy store again. Vintage t-shirt prices have definitely dipped this year, with a lot of vintage buyers losing their shirt on tees that they thought would appreciate when they bought them at market price earlier this year. While the general market is down, we did notice a few landmark sales that did occur this year. Of course, there's a $76,000 pair of Levi's jeans that sold at the Durango Vintage Festivus, but also a pair of 1850s Levi's that seemed to be recovered from the bottom of a ship that sold for $95,000. Previously covered on this program, we did see a vintage Raiders Pure Badge hat sell for $14,000 on a Filipino Facebook Live program earlier this year, the most we've ever seen a vintage hat sell for. We also saw that Cloaked in Black sold the Nirvana heart-shaped box backstage pass version for $8,500 US, which is probably the second most we've ever seen a vintage t-shirt sell for, other than a Grateful Dead piece that we noted last year. While this is obviously a very rare tee, one trend that we have noticed in the vintage game this year is a back to basics movement. Long gone are the days where you can sell your AOPs for big money, as they seem to have devalued the most out of any vintage t-shirt this year. People are looking for small graphic tees like your vintage birdhouse or blind shirts, or they are looking for simply a blank crewneck or a blank hoodie, a distressed Carhartt jacket, Carhartt pants, or just something plain and nice. So if you are a graphic tee lover like myself, next year might be the chance to get a grail for a very reasonable price. That's all from us this year on the Vintage News. We hope you have a very prosperous 2023, and as always, don't forget to message me with any vintage news content you want to see on next episode. I'm Tom from Continuity. Thanks for watching.